Okay. I think so. The audio's good.
Yeah.
Okay. It's impossible to stop this one and re-record. There we go. There we go. Let me just stop the stream too and just start post. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay. Thanks for being here at the 26th meetup of the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. Quote of the week is a different one. So this is from a Japanese Zen master from the 13th century named Dogen. And the quote is, "When you walk in the mist, you get wet." Pretty straightforward, but I like to unpack that a bit in that when you walk in the mist, you get wet. It kind of applies to anything, and I see it as like Swift programming in general is kind of just like maybe you don't have an idea of where you want to go, but if you just walk in the mist, like you read some books, talk to developers and everything like that, it's kind of new, then you learn the stuff. Yeah. So I thought that was a good one to start out with. I am by no means a Firebase expert, but I figured we walk through the mist of Firebase and we'll learn it. So I like that quote. So upcoming meetups, we're going to be covering Firebase analytics today, setting it up, and then next week we're going to be covering Firebase user logins. Then on June 29th, Adam Smith is going to be delivering a talk on fun with enums. Really looking forward to that one. And then on July 6th, we're going to be covering generics. Yeah, right. Our pro tip of this week is Command Y to toggle, not toggle. Toggle breakpoints. So I just show that real quick. I've got Xcode right up here. Let's say that I want it to just run. So I set up a breakpoint right here. I go through execution, but let's say I just want to turn off execution and just run through a bunch of breakpoints. I just do Command Y. Just watch this blue one. We see it toggle, yeah? So it's just an easy way to toggle breakpoints. So I thought that was something to share. I'm going to remove the breakpoint now and go back into the write-up. Okay, so that was a pro tip of the week. We're shifting to housekeeping. So this is the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. You can go to our meetup page and talk to all of the developers in there. We're really lucky to be hosted by HICapacity. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can go to hicapacity.org/membership. And last bit of housekeeping, the bathroom's outside and to the right. The key's in the black lanyard by the door. Final two things I wanted to do is share Spectacle app and Screen Hero. If you're interested in getting an invite to Screen Hero, let me know. I'll share it with you. Tonight's agenda is going to be introductions, and then we've got a ton of stuff for Firebase. So I prepared a bunch of notes. We're going to be talking about all this stuff. And then we're going to be doing an actual demo, setting up a single view application to react to analytics and events. So, and there's a couple of gotchas. If you're interested in, I know Jan's watching this on the stream right now. If you go to the meetup.com page for tonight's session, I have links to a kind of an overview. It's a 30-minute video talking about integrating Firebase into a game, which is really great. And then there's also an 8-minute video that I linked in the meetup page for tonight that discusses everything we're going to be talking about tonight. And so, okay. So before we dive into Firebase analytics, let's do introductions. Does anyone want to go first?
I'm Jared. I was interested in programming and maybe starting a business, starting some type of application, but I'm also interested in cybersecurity and data, like big data type stuff,
Cool.
So like analytics. So stuff.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
Nice.
Like I'm not like really studied it like in depth, but I just like the concepts. So.
Cool. Very good. Does anyone want to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
Neil, coming in for a little bit. Hey, the best thing for this week, I released my first app.
Nice.
It's on the App Store.
Congratulations. Can we check it out right now?
Yeah, you can check it out right now. For iOS, it's called Test Your Swift.
Okay, I'm looking it up on the App Store right now.
Yep. It's a quiz app.
Test Your Swift. Hey, how's it
Test
going,
Your Swift, one word, camel case.
Okay.
Yep.
Test Your Swift. Checking it out right now.
About 100 questions from like 3 different modules.
Nice. I like your logo too.
Appreciate. Yeah, I actually designed the logo
Right on
Sketch. The launch screen and everything else. I had to go overcome about like 3 challenges.
Okay.
3 challenges. Yeah, I'll probably do like a lessons learned and I don't know, put in a meeting for my posterity at some point.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Right on. Well, congratulations on the releasing an app. It's a
Thank
huge
you.
deal.
Cool.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, it is like kind of like pumped up. So
That is a win for sure.
yeah, it's definitely a win.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else want to go next? Tyler, you want to go
Oh,
next? Or-
yeah, hi, my name is Tyler. I'm from here, and I'm just learning Swift as a hobby right now.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Tyler. Chade, do you want to go next?
Oh yeah, I'm Jay. I'm an app developer on a product is EcoQ. I'm putting the finished touches to get things ready for probably launch by end of June, early July. Got a lot of work to
Wow,
do.
man,
And in
soon.
fact, this will be one of the last times I'll be coming because I gotta start hunkering down and finishing this project.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm really doing is also be actively looking for a Swift on server because it's getting there.
Cool, cool.
So I can port bulk of my code base and put it on let's say one of the IBM or AWS
Right.
on the servers and then do all that stuff.
Nice, nice.
Because the app is becoming more of a server than a mobile app.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding on that one, literally. Hey, what's that?
I think it was like a
Alarm.
car alarm or something. For intrusion detection kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, it'd be great once you get it going on the server, if you could, anytime you visit back in Hawaii, if you could do a talk for us, run us through some server-side Swift, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because it's pretty performant and low memory.
Nice.
You know, one thing I noticed about cloud services, you pay for the memory too. So you don't want to have too many big apps.
The storage, the memory
Yeah.
storage.
I mean, memory usage.
Oh, okay.
That's the big issue. I didn't realize that too.
Yeah. Right on. Jonathan, you want to introduce yourself, or it's up to you?
I'm Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
I'm a HICapacity member, and I am a functional programming dabbler.
Right on. Cool.
Cool.
Thanks for being here. I'll go last. My name is David. I am from Manoa Valley. I'm currently working on a boxcar physics game. Made lots of progress last night. Super stoked on it. Currently stuck on rendering an SK shape node on a UI image view. That's what I'd really like to work on. And a recent win for me is I integrated Firebase, what we're going to be covering tonight, into my app that's on the App Store. So I've got version 1.1 on there.
Oh, nice.
So, and my interest, besides programming computers, into gardening right now. I've got a plot right by the Alawai, so we're going to get that thing going. Yeah, right by the Alawai. The Alawai. Okay, so that was all the introductions. Anyone have any questions before we get started on tonight's topic?
Nope.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to shift over to, actually I'm going to make this a bit smaller and move down because I have a ton of items. So does everybody know what Firebase Analytics is? Or first of all, what analytics are? Does that make sense? I'm happy to just have a group conversation too tonight. Show some code too. So analytics are a way to just kind of see who's using your app, maybe what kind of problems they're getting into, what features are being used, what buttons they're clicking, where they're coming from. All that kind of stuff is available to users of Firebase. My understanding of Firebase is that it is free to use. We talked earlier before we started streaming that there could be gotchas along the way, so we definitely watch out for those in terms of usage and costs and everything like that. There was recently something online where someone got charged a huge amount of money based on changes that Firebase made internally. I don't have the details on it, but if you do a Google search, you'll probably be able to find it. And they responded really well, so I think the PR that Firebase has is a pretty good machine. So I have mentioned in previous meetups that I'm interested in doubling, tripling down with Firebase because there's so much benefit to it. I'm just going to quickly read out some of the benefits that you get for free with Firebase. I watched a couple of videos this morning and just kind of to prepare for this talk. So just right out of the gate, for developers, there's real-time databases, user authentication, Aaron, cloud messaging, storage, hosting, test lab, and crash reporting. Then for kind of growing your apps, there's notifications, remote configuration, app indexing, dynamic links, invites, and AdWord integration. And then finally, with Firebase, you can leverage AdMob ads. So that's pretty great. So I just went over what Firebase is, and now what I want to do is I want to move over to the actual website for Firebase. So I'm going to bring up this page, and I am already logged in. So I'm going to show the console right now. So here's Firebase. It's pretty cool. I like this little graphic of this dude holding up a phone.
Yeah.
I guess that's Firebase. I'm not sure. But you just sign up for it. Go to firebase.google.com, and then you just register. You can use your Gmail email address, and you just go in. So it's pretty straightforward for signing up and getting to the console. Next thing I'm going to do, and please stop me if I'm going too fast. You guys have any questions? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install Firebase with CocoaPods. So I have it already set up in a project right here, but I'm going to just destroy this project so we can start from scratch. Or maybe I shouldn't do that. I'll keep it on the side. I'll do a new one. So I'm going to just get out of this. You guys probably can't see this. Okay, so I am going to create a new project, and I should do that in Xcode first. So here we go, bringing up Xcode. I'm going to do a new project, not a new file. So I'm doing Shift-Command-N to bring up a new project, and I'm going to do a single view application, just keep it bare minimum, so it's just very straightforward. So start up the single view application, creation, let's call it Firebase 2, because I already have one, and then all this stuff we'll just leave it as is.
Keep it.
We'll hit next. Yeah, it's great when we can just leave it there. And then I'm just going to create it. Now we have this app created. I'm not even going to run it because you all know it's just going to work, right? So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate Firebase. I'm going to keep with this list of the recipe and go from the top. So on line 92, we see install Firebase with CocoaPods. So who here has used CocoaPods before? Okay.
It's been a long time. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to the review.
Okay. So how about a review of CocoaPods by going to the CocoaPods website?
Yeah, I think last time I used it with Objective-C time.
Oh, okay.
That was a long time ago.
Okay, so you just go to cocoapods.org. I have it installed on my machine already, so I'm not going to go over that. But if you have any issues installing it, just message me. I can help you guys out with it. So CocoaPods is a what do we call it? Dependency manager. So it's a way that you can leverage open source software through an installer that is like command line based that allows you to bring in open source software directly into your project. I'm not sure why it's taking so long with this connection, but I'm going to try and restart this one. Make sure I have the right CocoaPods. Okay, here it comes. So we just do a brief overview of CocoaPods. We went to cocoapods.org, and then the install right here. Just follow these instructions, you'll get it installed. Getting started, we're going to be creating a pod file. We're going to create the dependency inside here as well, and then we're going to do the install. This can be done in like 2 minutes, so we're going to just get started on it right now. So installing Firebase with CocoaPods. I've created a project just now, and we've named it Firebase 2. The next thing I want to do is not in here. So I'm just going to save the project as is, and I'm going to move over to the command line. So while we're in here, I'm going to just cd into the new Firebase project that I made, and we called it 2. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll make it even bigger. And then I just want to see what's in here. It's just a regular project, right? What we want to do now that we have CocoaPods installed, it's been previously installed. So now I can just leverage CocoaPods to do a pod init. I do that, and it's just initializing CocoaPods for this project. I'm going to do another ls to show the files in here, and now we see that there's a pod file. So what I want to do is I want to use my favorite text editor, Sublime, and I want to just open up the pod file. So it opens up, and I'll be putting the pods right in here. How's it going? I'll be putting right here on line 9. And what we want to do for Firebase is I want to head back over. Another reason I like Firebase is that it just has really good documentation. So I've just went over, I'm going to go right from where we were right here, and I'm going to say add new project. So we'll start from there. I'll also make this a lot bigger. Let's see, I don't know if I want to show my bundle identifier in here. If I have to, I don't want to, but let's just do it from here. I'm just going to name it Firebase 2. It's going to be the United States, and we'll create the project. Waiting for this. While this is going, I'm just going to go over to this. Okay. Well, I created a new Firebase project inside of Firebase, and I want to add it to my iOS app. So just click on this. And then this I might do off screen just because I don't want to share this. So I'm going to just pull this down a bit. You put in your bundle identifier right here. I'm just going to call it Firebase 002. And I just do whatever, app ID. I'm going to move this over before I send it in. All I'll be doing off screen is just putting this in right here. I don't know how I'm going to keep it from showing up on the stream.
Yeah. You don't want to put that in.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got this in. I am going to register the app right now. So it's registering off screen right now. And I'm going to just show this right here. So this is the next screen that I see. All I'm doing here is I'm downloading this plist. So this is created by Firebase, by Google. It's a plist I'm just importing into my project right now. So I'm just going to download it. And waiting for that download, I'm going to just save it directly. And then off screen, I'll be just finding where it is inside of my computer. Might come up on, oh no, that's right here. Okay, so I see it right here in my downloads. And all I'm gonna do is maybe I'll copy it to the desktop right up here. I'll move this one over too. And move this one over too. Move this one over too. I'm just gonna move it right here so you can see the plist. So there it is. Yeah, so it's just a file. And it is set up with all of my credentials. All I need to do next is inside of Firebase 2, making sure I have the right project open, I just need to pull it in. So I just drag it in, drop it in, make sure it's copy, finish. There we go, that's it. I've done that step. Next, I'm gonna move back to Firebase and bring up this window so we can see what we did. And I just downloaded it. I moved it in as we saw. I'm gonna just continue. And then it gives us more stuff, yeah? So we did the pod init already. Next thing we need to do is we need to bring this over into the Sublime pod file right here. So I'm just pasting it. Maybe we get a bit more formatting going on this one. Save it. So all we've done is we have initialized this pod file. We have brought in this directive to CocoaPods to install the Firebase core pod. I'm saving it, and then I'm going back to the command line to do an installation of this one. Yep. So we've just edited the pod file. Now I just want to do a pod install, and this is where the magic happens. I'm going to full screen this so we can see how beautiful this is. So there it goes. That's all I needed to do. Now the program, CocoaPods, is finding all this Firebase stuff and installing it right into my project for me. So I don't have to do anything online. I don't have to, tweak anything, bring anything together. And within, what was that, 10 seconds, 5 seconds? It's almost done. It's sending stats back to CocoaPods right now. Waiting. I'm gonna go on the side on this one. One thing I wanna just really underscore is that right after once you install a pod with CocoaPod, do not use your Xcode project file anymore. You gotta shift it over and start using your Xcode XC workspace.
Yep.
So you'll see it right in here. So I did an LS right here, yeah, and we had these 3 files.
Right.
But now after we did the pod install, I'm going to do an LS, and now we've got these files right here. So we're going to change from accessing this project through Xcode project, we're going to be accessing it through XC workspace. So instead of opening this one, we want to open this one from now on.
Yeah.
That's really important to know.
Yeah.
Really important.
Actually, in fact, if you want to, here's a little trick.
Yeah.
I had to do a similar trick to get, let's say you have an Xcode project and you want to use the playground. You do a similar technique.
Oh, okay.
You use so that you can prototype on the playgrounds. Of course, you gotta make sure that all your files are targeted and then create a workspace, and then it's a similar technique.
Nice. So that you're utilizing the files in your project from a playground.
Into the playground, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh.
Yeah, use a similar technique.
Cool.
You run the workspace.
Nice. I would like to know how to do that in the future. Sounds cool.
Actually, I have the file and at the site.
I'll make a note to ask you later.
Oh, yeah, okay. After.
Yeah. So let's see. So which one was it right here? Okay, so this is my Firebase 1. I'm going to close that one. And then I just want to make a note to myself to get that code from Che.
Or the site.
Okay. Get site to run playground on Xcode project files. Okay, before I keep going on this one, does anyone have any questions about what just happened? Why would you do this? Anything like that? Is it pretty straightforward and clear? Okay, I'm going to keep going then. So what I'm doing on the command line right now is I want to open up the Firebase XC workspace that has been created now. So click return, and then it's opening it up. So we're in Firebase 2. I want to make sure that I don't have the other one open right now, just so I don't want them to collide. Okay, let's close this one. And just want to make sure, so I'll just stay with one, close this one as well. Okay, so we've got this Firebase 2 project with CocoaPods integrated as well. Oh man, what is this? Maybe I have to reopen it. Just quit it completely. Okay, so I'll try it one more time. Firebase 2, yeah, that looks right. Okay, just waiting for Xcode to come up. Here it comes. There we go, Xcode. There we go. So there's all the files, and we just go back to the view controller. So cool. We've just set up Firebase with CocoaPods. Now we just have to do a few more things. But before I do that, I want to go back to the list, because I think it's helpful to get the big picture of what we're doing here, why we want to do this, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we just did this, this, and this. Next thing I want to do is, great, we have analytics. Let's look at line 99 right now. Just by integrating all this stuff, there's a few more stuff we have to do to tweak it. And I'll just do it right now for clarity of everything. All we need to do to use Firebase right now is import Firebase. And make sure that B is lowercase. That has gotten to me a couple times. A few more things we have to do, but let's just say that that is fully set up. The few other things that I want to discuss a bit later after we discuss events is setting up a flag inside of your scheme so that debugging can happen inside of the app without even having to send it to Firebase. So this would be to ensure that events are being tracked within Xcode and not having to interact with Firebase Cloud at all. So we'll cover that after we discuss these events. So I'll move back over to Sublime. So what I want to talk about is right here. So just by integrating Firebase, we have access to all of these events being tracked by default. So we can tell when the person first opens the app, when they've updated the OS. All these kind of things will be available in the dashboard inside of Firebase. Any questions about that? Okay. Next thing we want to cover is there are predefined events within Firebase. So these are things that Google/Firebase has set up for us. So in one of the videos that's on the meetup page, I screen grabbed one of those segments in the video, and these are things that are just built in. So for games, we have these predefined events that when this person joins a group, levels up, posts a score, selects content, spends virtual currency, we can get the amount of currency, all that kind of stuff, all built in. So we don't have to define our own events for this. E-commerce, all the same kind of stuff you would expect, as well as travel. But what I'd really like to focus on tonight is creating our own custom events. So we've covered all that stuff up. We've kind of gone through some of this demo stuff. We've covered 148. We've integrated into empty project. Next, let's add 2 buttons to the project. Just real quick, simple stuff. We've all done this before. I'm going to move over to the main storyboard. All I'm going to do is just create 2 buttons. Not even going to change the color of them or the backgrounds. Just simple buttons. And I'm just drag them in. So it's 1, and then I want to rename it. So we'll call it button 001, and then I'm going to alt drag this guy down, and we'll call him button 2. Next, we want to wire this up to the view controller. So I'm just going to bring out the counterpart view. And then I just want to drag these guys over. We're just going to create 2 actions. So let's call them action, button 1 pressed. This is all old hat for you guys, I know, but just gotta set it up. And then we'll call this one button 002 pressed. And make sure it's an action. Connect it. There we go. I'm not even going to put print statements here to verify that it's working because it's probably working. So I'm going to just add these in. So there, we've set up our buttons and we are going to act when they are pressed with these lines on 14 and 18. Any questions about this? Pretty straightforward. Okay. Moving back over to Sublime to check out our notes. So we've added the 2 buttons to the project and we have hooked them up to the view controller. We have imported Firebase with this call right here. And then we have also went over custom and predefined. I'm sorry, we didn't cover custom yet, but we talked about predefined. So how about let's just start with a predefined one. And just to kind of see how it just looks, that this stuff is already baked in. Before I type anything here, I have noted a change in the API calls, the naming of it versus what they have online. So that might be something to get into a little bit later. I'm just going to go forward with it and see what kind of code completion it gives me. So this is straight from firebase.google.com. If anyone knows this specifically, what's happening, I kind of just saw this today. I've done this a couple times, but I'm noticing this, is that it's asking me to change this for analytics to analytics. And I just want to make sure I'm not leveraging Apple Analytics in any way. I don't think so, though.
No.
Okay. So I'm just going to do the suggested change. There's also one more for this method name change. There we go. So that stuff is in there. This is
I think one of the reasons why they did that is it's to conform to the Swift 3 naming conventions. That's why.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about that for a bit? I don't understand.
It's more declarative and less.
Oh, okay. They just, yeah. Okay.
Of like Firebase Analytics
Right.
to Analytics.
Oh, okay.
Some,
Okay.
like, event,
Makes sense.
It'll give you the guide.
Right. So we're kind of just cleaning code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Analytics,
There we go.
It's a lot cleaner.
That is a lot cleaner. So this would be, we would be login event of analytics event login with no parameters. That would be sending it over to Firebase Analytics. Pretty straightforward, right? So you press the button, this thing happens. But how about, we want to create our own event on this one. So I'm going to flip back over to Sublime, and I just have one written up right here. So I'm going to just copy this line and paste it in here. We're going to have to do the same code grooming on this one. I'm going to save and wait for the suggestions to come up. So there we go. Same thing we did last time. And then I have my own name right here, yeah? And I'm kind of just getting this, like, this naming is kind of, this snake case right here is pretty awful, but we'll fix it later. But this is just a call. So this gets called whenever button 1 gets pressed. So let's do the same thing, and let's do a button 2 is pressed. So we're creating 2 custom events to save inside of Firebase Analytics. Okay, any questions about this stuff? Anything? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so the next, and I believe maybe second to the final thing that I want to cover on this one is that, kind of we can just read it out through here. This is directly from that 8-minute video on the meetup page that I posted. So waiting for the events to show up on the dashboard online takes way too long. We want to ensure that these events are being triggered. In order to do that, we need to enable debug logging to see if these events get triggered and saved in real time. How do we do that? Check out line 163. We need to edit the run scheme, and we need to input an argument that is passed on launch, and we're just adding this in. Looking at this right now, I'm kind of concerned with the renaming of analytics. So I'm hoping that this works still. So I'm just going to bring it in. I'm copying this. And then I'm going to head over to editing the scheme for this project. So edit the scheme, we want to go to the target, edit scheme, and then we want to look at run. So we're on run right now. I'm going to head to arguments, arguments passed on launch. We do plus, we add it in here, and I'm just pasting it right there. So one kind of issue that I've run into with Xcode 8 whatever has been that in order to save something into a text field, you need to press return. So just something to keep in mind, right?
I've done, yeah.
Yeah, that is infuriating.
It's just mildly annoying.
Yeah, it's infuriating to me.
No, what's more infuriating? It crashes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
worse.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
So we've added this argument to pass in on launch, and I'm just going to close it right there. So that's been set up. We're going to save the project right here. I'm going to zoom back out, head back over to Sublime just to make sure we have everything covered. So now that should be taken care of. When I run the application, we should see it in the debugger right now. If it doesn't show up, I apologize for this. I can update it later, but so right now we're going to run it and we're going to press the button and hopefully we'll see some debug messages come up. So I'm going to head over to Xcode and I'm going to do Command R and let's run it into iPhone 7 simulator. I'm also going to do a Shift Command Y to bring up the console, and we want to see it come up right here. I'm also going to just collapse this left side. I want to see it in here. Compiling, and waiting for it. Any questions while this loads? Anybody? Okay. Okay, so we're just waiting for it to come up. I want to make sure this works before I say anything else, so we'll just wait for this. Here comes the simulator. In time. Nice. So we're about halfway through. Come on, simulator. Does this kind of give you guys some ideas of how you want to integrate it into your apps? It's pretty straightforward, right? To just kind of keep track of what's happening. I'm really looking forward to next week where we can leverage Firebase for user logins. And the great thing about that is that we can integrate our own usernames and passwords. We can also integrate Google sign-in, so using your Google email address and password. I think we can also use your Twitter username and password, and even, I don't know about Facebook, I think maybe Facebook. Seems like Facebook would be included in it. Not sure why this is taking so long, so I'm just gonna cancel this one. And try and run it one more time. It could be it's just building all this stuff. I wish there was a verbose way to see what was compiling. Oh man, it's just frozen up now. Okay, so that's a good sign. All right, so Command R one more time. And look at this one so we can see the console. Come on, Firebase. Okay, this one I'll just let it go. Let's wait for it.
So while this comes up, are there any other analytics frameworks out there worth using?
I know that there is analytics inside of iTunes Connect, but I haven't taken a look at it really. The reason I want to use Firebase is because I want to serve ads using Firebase as well, and I also want to leverage user logins, and then finally I want real-time databases.
Exactly.
One reason why I want real-time databases specifically is like I want to start doing some like mapping apps, and I want people to be able to tag locations.
Yeah.
So utilizing the real-time database, I don't have to take care of the pub sub, like publishing a change up to a database and then have that be replicated on all the other devices. Like I don't have to code any of that. I can use Firebase for that. So that's why like I haven't really looked into it, so I can't really answer any other analytics stuff.
Okay.
Right.
In the past, I've used like Objective-C. I've used like Flurry Analytics in the past. Yeah, but this seems like maybe the way that I personally want to go.
The way to go.
Yeah.
It really depends on what you're doing. For me, I might not use it because I'm dealing with very sensitive data.
So you want to keep it off of the cloud, or I'll put it on your own cloud.
Own cloud.
Gotcha.
That's why I cannot use Firebase.
Gotcha. Okay, that's why you want the AWS potentially,
Or
your own.
build your own.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Because of the data I'm using,
Yeah.
could be, I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
it's sensitive
Absolutely.
and could be user data, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give Google
That's
that.
smart. That's smart. Yeah.
So it's not appropriate if you're dealing with very sensitive data. Don't use this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to use an alternative. So it really depends on what you're doing.
Right. Absolutely.
So if you're dealing with like very sensitive data, don't put it in Google.
Okay, so I'm running into an issue right here, and I'm open to any feedback on this one. So
The default Firebase app has not been configured.
add for app configure. Okay, I know what I did. I believe that I did not add one single Firebase configuration inside of the app delegate.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. So I'm going to move over.
It's similar to like core data. You gotta
Right. That's what Adam showed us
initialize it.
last time. Yeah.
Same thing with Firebase or on those frameworks. You gotta initialize it somewhere.
Right. So I believe it's going to be right in here. So I'll do a full screen on this one so we can see it. So we did this step already. We'll continue with it. All right. So we've done this already. I imagine. Okay, right here. There we go. Thanks, O'Neill. So I'm just going to copy this one right into our app delegate. So move over to app delegate.
I mean, generally,
Punch this one down.
I mean, if you have only just one or two, it's fine to put on the app delegate, but don't make it a place where you initialize 500 things.
Oh, yeah.
Then it becomes a problem.
Right.
So it really depends on how much stuff you have to work on.
Right.
So I learned about a technique where you kind of offload that.
Is that like lazy evaluation or
No, something else.
something different?
Using protocol. So
Nice. I'd like to at some point cover delegates.
Delegation,
at a future meetup. We ran into an issue last night about passing around a UI image, and like my buddy was using delegates, but then we found a quicker fix to it, but we didn't really get to dive into it. Saving it as a static variable.
No, but
It'll be updated eventually.
no, I think the delegate approach is actually a better approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the static variable, what happens if you need to update that image?
Yeah.
Then it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So I would like to cover that at future meetups. So back into Firebase. I believe that's going to take care of it. I'm going to save the two changes that we did to app delegate 1 and 2. Save it, and I'm running it again now.
Yeah. Anytime you have to use Firebase or any framework, you gotta say import.
Okay, so it's running on our simulator now. I'm going to wait for it to come up. I'll bring it up on the screen. Waiting, and here we go. All right.
Good.
Are you guys interested in looking at these logs?
I like looking at logs.
Okay, let's
You
take
have to
a look at it.
do a lot of debugging. You get used to it. Looking at log streams.
Okay, there it is. So Firebase has been integrated and it's working for us. Does anyone want to specifically look at anything in this thing? That's pretty much it, huh? How about let's test our buttons next? We've got them in there. Let's bring this console down, and I'm going to bring up the simulator. And all I care about is those two. I'm going to switch over to what we set up in the view controller. I just want to see these two get called. So we're going to be looking for these two events.
Okay.
All right, so we'll log down. I also want to clear out this stuff so we can go fresh. So I'm just clicking on this little trash can to clear the console.
Especially if you have tons and tons.
So we're moving back over to the simulator, and let's press this button. Boom! It works!
Yeah.
So let's do a quick search right here inside for button 1 pressed. I don't see it though. Does anybody see it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So button 1 pressed,
Cool.
we're expecting that button 2 will work as well. Let's clear out the console, and let's click on button 2. Come on, button 2. Are you not working?
You can do a button too.
Oh, you know what? I think I still have this filter going. There we go. So those are nice debugging, David.
Yeah.
Button 2. Boom. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear out the filter.
Yeah. I'm glad I saw that. So that is what I had prepared for tonight. I just want to go back into Sublime to make sure that I covered everything. Okay, final thing to cover on this one. This is the gotcha that will trip you up if you don't know it. Let's say that whenever I run something inside of Simulator, and I just want to see if it works, I'll run it and then I'll kill it. You know, I'll just quit it, right?
Yeah.
That's how you do it, right? And you run it, you quit it, run it, quit it. The only thing is, and I'll go back to Sublime to make sure I'm saying this right. Firebase events are sent to the cloud when data is more than an hour old or the app goes in the background. Do not press stop in Xcode to kill the simulator. Events will not be sent. Instead, press Shift-Command-H to press the home button in the simulator.
Let's say you wouldn't do this. Does this argument apply if you're running on the real device?
I don't know with 100% certainty, so I can't answer that.
Yeah.
But let's just to push to show this point is within the simulator, I'm just pressing Shift Command H to go. It simulates pressing the home button on the simulator.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Took a bit of time, but there it is. That's it. So there we go. I believe that this came up after we did the call to home or the home button press.
Okay.
That's all I had prepared. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sorry to just say that, but we have about 19 minutes left, so I'm happy to just do open discussion for the rest of the meetup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we look at this in the cloud then?
Firebase, yeah. What does it show in Firebase?
How about I'll show you. Let me pull it up, the console on my own app right now, because that's been going for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure there's no like identifying information in it before I should put it up on the screen. But I'm happy to review that. There aren't any events in it as well right now, but I'm happy to look through through it.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to.
Good. Yeah, good. But, oh, and speaking of which, you wanted to know that technique?
Yeah, I do.
I actually saved it on my Safari, mobile Safari.
Nice. Okay, so I'm bringing up my app. Go ahead, check. I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you have a link that you want to show? Okay, let me look at this real quick. Oh,
Having a big screen
nice.
helps.
Yeah, this is great. This is a good screen too.
Yeah, it's a monster, man.
You know, I'm gonna look at this after, if you don't
Okay.
mind, or if I could
Yeah.
get this link from you,
Yeah,
that'd be
okay.
great. I'd love to be able to utilize Playgrounds to test my app.
It
Awesome,
helps.
absolutely. Okay, so I'm back in. I want to look at my
Playground-driven
analytics.
development. I read that somewhere.
Sorry, what?
Playground-driven development.
Oh, really?
I heard that. Yeah, somewhere. I think,
It's like-
I'd like to know more about that.
Oh, by the way, in building
Playground.
EcoCube, I've been using a lot of the playground. I actually had 60 megabyte playground. It got so big that I had to
TDD.
use that technique.
Right on. Okay. I'll just show you guys this. I don't think there's anything to. Shit, I don't want that to show up. I'm not sure how to show you guys this. You know what? I'm gonna hold off on showing it just in the stream. I'm happy to show it after we finish streaming, so you guys can see it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions about this stuff? Is there does it make sense? Is there any
Oh, I got a question.
Yep.
Is the this Firebase is like some app that you configure so that it has access to like wherever your app is like hosted or something, and then like all the data goes through it or something like that, or how? What's like the interface between the?
I think if we're talking about like geolocation, is that what you mean? Like geographically where it is, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, the interface between this Firebase and then the app. Because like I guess with my programming or whatever experience, I built like a website.
Okay.
So then I had like the website was like the place that was hosting it,
Uh-huh.
and then I guess it's not like super relevant, but yeah, I was just wondering how that kind of conceptualizing like the location and stuff like that.
So I guess that the code lives inside of the app. That code inside of your app that exists on multiple phones is sending data to Google's cloud, and then you have a console, web-based console, where you can like review all of that data. I'm really not sure if I answered your question with that one.
Yeah,
So is it
I mean, I'm
only-
getting a better picture. of it.
Okay.
So-
I don't know. It's kind of maybe like tag on it. So it's only for like capturing data. Can you treat it as a backend? Like use your app as a front end.
You could with the
And
real-time database. Yeah.
Okay. So can you do computations?
I don't know. Haven't gotten into
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
I see this more. I have pretty good experience with Google Analytics. So I've created funnels to check like user flow, like have they signed up for something or have we lost them along the way? So I see Firebase analytics as a way of just testing features in the app. Primarily, that's my main point right now.
Yeah.
Next week it'll be user logins, that kind of thing.
So do you have to set up a so I understand you guys set up the Firebase, but if you want the analytics, like do you have to set up Google Analytics also?
No, it's all in there.
It's
Well, it's all in there.
Yeah.
It's
So I'll be able to
incorporated.
after we finish the stream, you can take a look at the dashboard. You can see what there is. There's even real time like flow at like the if you check out that 30-minute video where integrating Firebase into your games, that's listed on the meetup page. That guy talks about, he showcases one screen. It's not the console, which is like Google Analytics. It's like you can actually see like data flowing like in a map of the Earth. It's cool.
That's
It's really cool, yeah. And then the step that you take after this is if you want to do like deep visualizations, you could use, I think they call it BigQuery, and that's like a Google service, or like Tableau, and you can do visualizations on the data. But as far as I understand in my research into Firebase, all the features that we discussed tonight is free, completely free.
Right.
But don't quote me on that. Don't come with a huge bill for me to pay. Like, I'm going with what I know, right? I'm just going on what I learned. But I'm not a data scientist. I don't work for Google, so
Yeah.
But I tell you, they'll tell you which features are paid though. Yeah.
So I guess next question, you mentioned ads.
Ads.
And the ability to do ads through Firebase. So pretty much you have Google AdWords like integrated.
Yeah, if it'd be helpful, I'm happy to maybe do a double presentation next week and showcase user logins and ad integration.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's one of the things that I have. So ways to like obviously like monetize an app based ads, set up a price point, or do in-app purchases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, interesting looking at those three.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So Apple takes a cut of like app purchases and in-app purchases, right?
Mhm.
Does Apple take a cut of ad revenue that you would get from this inside of your app?
I do not know that. I don't know. I would venture a guess that they don't, just because this is a side service. They have no like.
Hard to track that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hard to track. Google does for sure. That's bulk of Google's revenue is ad revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And people game it all the time.
Yeah. There's Chinese apps that are like a front end. Have you heard about this?
I heard
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
they're really front ends to advertising.
Yeah. Like a
And they
click
game
farm.
and they basically what you call it, game Google's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Talking about gaming, I don't know if you saw there's an article about people gaming the app store.
Mhm.
Just clicking a button that says sign up for this app for free.
Mm-hmm.
You will be charged $99 on like little like lower cases, and when people just click it, they get charged like $99. Yeah.
Yeah.
A month.
Oh, it's a subscription.
Yeah, it's a subscription. Yeah.
That cuts deep.
Yeah. So it's really interesting.
But the thing
article
is,
to read.
read
Yeah.
the fine print. Read the fine print. Subscriptions.
Yeah.
But if someone makes a razor stink, they get shut down.
Yeah.
You can't. That won't last for too long.
No, so but I have a problem with the people that are doing it, obviously. But that's I don't know. I guess it's like one of like the top 100 apps.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Grossing.
I think I read that about something that was like a jewel. Like it was like some jewel that you had to purchase, and it was like crazy expensive. Like this was like 2 years ago though. It's just
Yeah.
like someone set up a jewel that you buy for like a crazy amount of money. Were you gonna
Yeah.
say something, Trey?
Yeah. But people game these systems all the time.
Yeah.
Come on, it's called hacking and social engineering.
Good point.
I mean, that is the benefit of iOS being a walled garden, at least.
Yeah.
Where you have Apple that tries to lock that stuff down
Yeah.
Yeah.
quicker than it happens in Android.
Right.
It's actually it takes months, and they can and there by the way there are automated ways to defeat their There are automated checking systems. There are ways to, yeah. There are open source Android malware that take advantage of that. The problem with automating that is that skilled hackers can find ways, with automated stuff, you can always find ways around it. So you gotta use better techniques. And social engineering always works all the time. So you gotta be careful. Huh? It does. The weakest link is always the human link.
There was a great article just for the image itself of, I think it was in Thailand. They caught a click farm. This is like, it's literally like, it's almost like a bookshelf that has like iPhones all across it. It's just like, they're just running and going. It's pretty interesting.
Click farm.
Click farm, yeah.
Yeah, click fraud.
Yeah.
Wow. Bad, eh? Terrible.
Oh, so it was on. Sorry to follow up. It was on Medium, posted on the Free Code Camp publishing. Is how to make $80,000 per month on the App Store, and that's what it's talking about. Yeah. Johnny Lean is the offer.
Nice.
Funny.
I read about this one that was like a spam. It monitored your spam or something, or did a check of your phone for spam or something, and it didn't do anything, but it was like one of the top ones. Did
I
you
read
guys
that
about
one.
this?
Yeah.
And it like, yeah, and I think they might have been charging or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
everyone just, you feel good because it's got a cool like logo, and you're like, oh, I'll do this, and it's like
Right.
$5. It's just like, it's not a big deal,
Right.
for that feeling of safety, and
You know
it
what?
didn't do anything. It didn't do anything at all.
But you know what?
Yeah.
And it was like on the top 10 or something.
But like I said, it's called social engineering.
Yeah.
Those are good examples of. But if you're gonna do that, you might as well get something out of it.
They were making a ton of money
yeah,
on it, right?
they made a lot of money. Then I think they make them refund it, but I don't think they can make them refund all of it. I think probably a lot of it's spent.
Yeah, but a lot of it, but it was caught and shut down.
Yeah.
And if you get caught doing stuff, you can be removed. Because they do find ways to track. Because you need to have real information so that identify you, so you can do pull off multiple shenanigans.
A heist.
Because it's easier in Google to pull off shit like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Well, any other questions or comments before we shut it down for tonight?
Very cool subject.
Right on.
I think it's a very cool subject.
Cool. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Thank you for spending your time here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Oh yeah.